So let's begin by finding a comfortable way of just being, sitting. You don't have to be rigid, but upright is good. And the topic that's been suggested for meditation right now is impermanence. And we can really begin just by noticing our breath. There is no single breath that is not impermanent in the sense that it comes and goes. And without the coming and going, we would not be alive today. Impermanence is required for growth, actually. And it's required for life, as the cells of our body are constantly dying and regenerating and bringing new forms of themselves into our body. And so impermanence is something that's necessary for the continuation of life as we know it. And that includes what we would call birth and what we imagine is death. Life itself is continually birthing itself and also transforming itself in what we call death. But there truly is no death. There's just a transformation that happens. Whether we look at a flower or a pet or a person or a moment or a blissful spiritual experience or a horrendous experience, everything comes and goes, eventually comes and goes, expands and contracts. And this is how life moves itself. So as you take the in-breath, your lungs expand, maybe your belly too if you breathe deeply. But you can't hold that expansion because there's something that quite naturally lets go and releases back into the space, that breath, the breath that is always coming and going in its impermanence that supports life itself in this form. Impermanence in our relative life is everywhere you look. Morning, noontime, evening, nighttime doesn't stay the same. A river, beginning as perhaps a tiny, tiny brook up in the mountains and then moving down into a stream, into a river, into the ocean. It doesn't stay the same. It's flowing, just like life. Continual flow. And when we are most free within ourselves, we accept the flow of life as simply that. Life itself flowing through us as form, through feelings, thoughts, sense perceptions, experience, whatever. Continual flow. And when we don't think it should look only one way, we're much more likely to be more okay with the times that seem difficult, challenging, painful perhaps, sad, grieving, anger, whatever, however our body, mind reacts or responds to situations, to events, to experience itself. So just imagine, or perhaps you won't have to imagine, that just as you are sitting here now, life is flowing within you. Not just the body-mind that you may identify with, but flowing through what you truly are, what you deeply are. life continues, continues, continues its flow. And its newness, even if the mind thinks, oh, I've experienced this before, oh yeah, here's another breath, here's another thought, yeah. But it's never the same. Even if we imagine it's the same, it isn't. It's new. It may seem to be a repetition, and yet it hasn't come exactly in this way before, despite the mind's interpretation. So just begin to feel that flow within yourself, the flow of life, the flow of breath, the flow of blood coursing through your system, the flow of thought, the flow of feeling, the flow of sense perception. Thousands and thousands of changes every day. Some visible, some invisible. The chemistry of your body is changing right now, depending on what you had for your last meal. And it's all being taken care of without your having to do anything about it. The sun rises and sets, even though it's never actually gone. The moon rises and falls, even though it never really goes away. The waves crash and ebb, although they're always waves of the same ocean. This is our life in form, impermanence. We can be grateful for it, actually. So, in the midst of everything that comes and goes, is there anything experientially for you that does not come and go? Is there anything that seems unchanging, even as change is continually happening? Is there any place experientially that you can go in your own body, mind, or experience that seems to be out of the continual flow of life, of coming and going, of impermanence itself? There's no right or wrong answer here, just a question for you to contemplate. Could this that we call the mystery, or this that we call awareness, or this that we call true nature, could it ever be separate from what's coming and going? Does it separate itself from all that is impermanent? Or is that an aspect of the mind's interpretation? What does it mean in your understanding Those lines from the Heart Sutra: form is exactly emptiness, emptiness exactly form. It's not saying emptiness becomes form, form becomes emptiness. Its language is different than that. Form is exactly emptiness. Emptiness is exactly form. Can you feel into any dimension of your experience where that seems true? In your own knowing, not intellectually, but deeper than that. Because in that understanding, we touch into what we would call a non-dual experience of the world, of life, of the universe, of yourself. Not one, not two. Non-duality has never been at war with duality, but your mind maybe has. When you were young, you might have enjoyed Halloween. Now I can be a ballerina. Now I can be a fireman. Now I can be a space person. Now I can be a monster. Now I can be a ghost. Now I can be a movie star. Now I can be, and fill in the blank. Imagine that the mystery that is all things in all moments is actually simply changing clothes, like you did when you were a kid on Halloween. Not attaching to any one particular identity, and yet not denying any of them either. Just this endless flow in an ocean of awareness, an ocean of presence, an ocean of mystery, moving, expanding, contracting on the surface, very still and quiet in the depths. So let's just sit together for maybe 10 minutes in silence, as you are open to however impermanence or emptiness or true nature or life wants to reveal itself experientially in these moments. And perhaps there might be for some of you a moment or two where everything stops. And there's nothing you can say about what's there. It's simply empty of definition and empty of a self. And yet the whole world continues. Just in the midst of it all. So we'll hear the bell in about 10 minutes.